Passport bros. A lot of men in America and Europe want to become one, as they should. And I'm sure you see a lot of videos of passport bros already here in Southeast Asia or Latin America claiming to be passport bros. Most of the time, they are not. You can easily tell by the women who are shoving their boobs and tattoos into the camera. Today, I'm going to review a video of one of the passport bros right here who actually came to right here, Thailand, where I live, and pretty much failed in every single possible way. This is his video to tell us why he would never marry a Thai girl. Now, I don't mean to pick on this particular guy, but he has made pretty much the most common mistakes you can make when you come to another country as a passport bro. Now, I've lived here for over 2 years, and I came here specifically for the reasons of just a better dating market and specifically getting the fuck away from the American dating market and American modern women and independent and all that shit, right? And my life has never been the same, though. The reason I stayed here, particularly in Thailand, has nothing to do with women. I absolutely love this country. The healthcare, the lack of pretty much any crime, the weather, the food. I mean, the beaches. I mean, it's been amazing. And I live right here in Bangkok, and I'm live streaming from Bangkok, Thailand, as we speak. By the way, if you want to look into what it's like or how you can become a passport bro, go to themillionmanproject.com. That link is in the description of this video. I've outlined every single possible way and step of the way that you need to take to actually explore this possibility. I guarantee you, this is an amazing life. However, not for everybody, as we'll see right here, because a lot of these guys come in and, like I said, they bring themselves with them. They don't change, they don't improve. A lot of them don't even know what a good woman is. They don't see the red flags, and they fall into the same traps as they did everywhere else in the world they went, in America, whatever. I think this guy is from Great Britain or whatever. It doesn't really matter. So again, don't mind. I don't mean to pick specifically on this guy. As you can see, he's actually, we're not going to see his face because he's just kind of driving the motorcycle through some of the suburban areas of Bangkok, because I can see some of the roads are relatively nearby. So it is a beautiful scenery, so we might as well watch it. But it is definitely something that I think every guy needs to understand, especially if you're thinking about, hey, maybe the dating scene is better in the other country. It is, but you need to prepare yourself, and you cannot be the same guy as you were, simping and, you know, Tindering your way through America or another country. Okay, so let's start this video, and there's a lot to digest here.
I'm going to say something that'll probably piss off half the expat community in Thailand, but someone needs to say it. I will never marry a Thai woman, not because I hate Thai women, not because I think they're all gold diggers, and definitely not because I can't get one. I've been proposed to 3 times by women who genuinely loved me, women who would have made decent wives by most standards, but I said no.
All right, so right away, now you're probably thinking he's full of shit. He is not. I mean, when you get here, your dating app is immediately full of like 100 to 300 likes. Now the question is, of course, why is he picking the women who obviously want to marry him, but he doesn't? Right? Why are you spending time with women who you don't want to marry? Are you? So that's a bit of a yellow flag here. So something to keep in your minds while as we watch this video.
Every time. And after 7 years in Thailand, watching hundreds of foreign men get married here, I'm more convinced than ever that I made the right choice. Today, I'm going to tell you exactly why. And if you're thinking about marriage here, you need to hear this before you make a decision you can't undo, because what I'm about to share isn't theory. It's pattern recognition from living this life and watching what actually happens when the honeymoon phase ends. Let me start.
So, and this is the number one mistake that I can see that he is making, is that he is obviously learning on his own mistakes, where you don't have to. Stories like this are everywhere. And women here are not that much more creative or smarter on how they take money and dispose of men. Okay, it is the oldest trick in the book. There's nothing new about it. You can hear many, many, many stories like this one. And if you guys haven't, that's why I wanted to go over this one in this video. So the number one problem a lot of these guys do is they just don't fucking learn on their own experiences from their previous countries and on the experiences of others. They just come in, they see girls, and they just go, "Oh, pretty girl, and she likes me." We'll see about that.
With something nobody wants to admit. When you marry a Thai woman, you're not just marrying her, you're marrying her entire extended family's financial problems. I learned this
Yeah. Well,
the hard way with my second
yeah, as you can see, he literally just said, I heard it this hard way. You don't have to learn this the hard way. You don't. And now the statement that he made earlier is just not true. You don't have to, first of all, you don't have to marry into the family, you know. And we'll talk about the Thai culture in a second. And by the way, I'm not specifically talking about Thailand. These are the same stories from Philippines and Cambodia and Colombia and Brazil and Chile and Kenya, where I was the yet last month. You know, it's the same. It's the same. So don't think this like this is just a Thai thing. This is definitely not just a Thai thing. And it is not true. You do not have to marry into their financial problems. First of all, when you're dating a girl, if she has a lot of family with a lot of financial problems that rely on her to solve it, don't date her. Don't date her. That she's not a dateable wife material. And secondly, if you do marry or start dating a girl and marry a girl that require it has family financial trouble, you're not supposed to be the solution. You're not supposed to volunteer for that.
girlfriend, Nim. Beautiful girl. Genuinely sweet. Loved me for real. Not just my wallet.
See, this is where he is still not getting it. She never loved him, as you will find out in a second, for him, right? First of all, a lot of these guys are not exactly that good looking. I'm not saying this guy isn't, okay, but just saying, generally speaking, a lot of these guys show up here. They're still fat. They wear horrible clothes, oversized t-shirts, fucking shorts, sandals over socks. Just basically how I used to dress when I was 11-year-old boy. They don't go to the gym. They don't improve themselves. They just kind of like walk around and then go like, wow, I can't believe these, beautiful women are into me. Yeah. Guess why they're into you? Not your looks, not your looks. So what else you have? Think about it, right? So this is where a lot of these foreigners go wrong. Like, oh yeah, she loves me who I am. She's very sweet and pretty. That doesn't match up. That doesn't match up.
6 months in, her father got sick. Nothing serious, but he needed treatment. 15,000 baht. I paid it without thinking twice because I cared
Ah, right away. Okay, so first of all, 15,000 baht, that's about 400 to 500 American dollars, depending on the strength of the dollar. That's a lot of money here. Just so you know, that's a lot of money here. Some people literally live on that for 2 months. Okay, maybe 1 month, but some people can live on it for 2 months here. So that's a lot of money. Um, and he just said, oh, I just gave it to him without thinking. Well, that's your fucking problem. And that's a problem of a lot of these guys. They are not thinking. They're thinking with their, but definitely not with this. Why in the world would you give a girl who you're dating, he said, only 6 months? Why would you give her a lot of money, essentially? And it's not even her, it's the family, right? What would have happened if you were not dating her, right? Trust me, that family would have figured it out. First of all, most Thai people here do have free government health care. Did you check in and see if that was an option? Secondly, if you weren't in a picture, they would have found a way. Someone would have gotten a second job. Someone would have sold something. Someone would have borrowed money from someone. They would have solved that problem. You volunteered to be a wallet. That's on you, buddy. And again, we don't even know if he volunteered, right? The girl could have come to him, and that's probably what happened, and say, my father's sick. I can't think of anything else but him. Can't get wet or anything like that. What would I do? Mm, mm. And you went, you know what? I have an idea. I am going to spend my own money and give it to you, and so you can give it to your father. And she'll be like, oh my God, this is how a lot of times it happens. These women have a way of getting their money from simps like him. But again, if you volunteered for reals, that's even worse. You don't have to. At 6 months in, I bet 6 months in, he probably hasn't even met the father, right? This is a pretty traditional old school culture. So at 6 months, he's unlikely. And again, I don't mind to pick on this particular guy. I'm just saying, generally speaking, most of these foreigners here who date women for the first 6 months, they don't even get to meet their family as they wanted to. It's just too soon. Again, this is why you came here for, right? Traditional Thai culture. Well, in a traditional Thai culture, you don't get to meet the father that fast, right? So he could have given the money uh, without even meeting the guy. Now, of course, on top of that, uh, does the problem exist, right? A lot of these girls, we call it a buffalo, right? A lot of these girls, have a sick buffalo, but it doesn't exist, right? Does she even have a father, right? Which is a problem here as well, right? A lot of these girls got tattoos and everything. That's usually an indication they don't have any fathers, right? That's kind of a same in around the world. So and so a lot of times these guys will give this girl money that just goes to her whatever Louis Vuitton purse. All of a sudden, I can't believe you could afford $1,000 Louis Vuitton purse. But guys don't even know, right? A girl will get a Louis Vuitton purse, and a guy will be like, I don't know, looks like a regular purse, right? They don't see red flags. And this is why in my course, right? Like I said, if you go to the millionmenproject.com, well, it's on the bottom left of the screen, right? Go there. It is in the description of this video as well, and see how much of uh, there that I have a whole module about how you're supposed to improve yourself and start developing self-respect, stop simping, and start seeing red flags like this. You cannot come here unless you cleanse yourself from your simpiness.
About her. 2 months later, her sister's motorcycle broke down. She needed it for work. 8,000 baht.
Again, he paid up.
I helped. Then her
And again, my questions are, did she ask for it? Did you volunteer? I'm pretty sure nobody volunteers this type of money. By the way, 8,000 baht, so it's about 200 American dollars or so. Yeah, 200 American dollars. Well, even more now. And again, what would have happened? Well, somebody would have owned a favor to somebody who owns a repair shop, and they would have gotten it fixed. And by the way, we have great public transportations here in Bangkok. Now, I don't know if his girlfriend or whatever his sister was in Bangkok, but generally speaking, the public transportation here is pretty good. So motorcycle, I gotta tell you, it's a bit of a luxury even for some people here. So, I again, why? That's her sister's. How is this any of your fucking business? But I bet she asked. Now, the rule number one that I always tell the guys: listen, as soon as a girl asks for money, leave her. I don't care if you spend 1 day with her or 5 years. If she asks for money, leave her. A lot of times this happens to me even before I go on a first date. A girl asks for a taxi money and I cancel the date. I guarantee you his first date with this girl was probably in some ways where he gave her money before meeting her or too much money while meeting her, right? If you lead with money, that you don't even give a chance to these women not to be hoes, right? If you're like, hey, I love the fact that I'm going to make you into a prostitute, here's some money, right? And then you first of all, you'll never know whether she really loves you or not for real if you're just consistently throwing money at her and her family and you become a necessity, right? And secondly, it tells the girl that you have nothing else to offer, right? As soon as you start giving girl money or spending too much money on her, you basically tell her, listen, I got nothing to offer. Not the personality, not the body, not the looks, not whatever. This is all I got, which is money, right? And that's what happens. Oh man.
grandmother's house needed repairs
Oh,
before
of
rainy
course it
season.
did.
25,000 baht.
25,000 baht, that's not a joke. That's closer to 1,000 American dollars. That's a lot of money. And again, would have gotten fixed one way or another because not every family here has a stupid foreigner who's willing to consistently pay up to have access to what of his girlfriend. they all figure it out. Nobody ends up without a motorbike for too long or without a house.
and her cousin needed help with university fees. 12,000 baht. I'm sitting there adding it up one day, and I realized I'd become the family ATM without even noticing.
What do you mean without even noticing, you idiot? How did you not notice? How did you not notice all this money coming out with a girl who's only been your girlfriend for 6 months? How do you not notice? When I pay 100 baht, which is $3, for a girl's coffee on a first date, I notice. I fucking notice. And if she doesn't say thank you, either at that point or when she gets home, and I, I don't date a girl anymore at all, because I notice when I spend money on a woman. It's a big privilege for the woman. I earn money by working very hard, and then I just hand it over to a girl. When I do that, I absolutely, 100% noticed 100 baht. You've spent 50,000 baht and you did notice, like, oh, I can't believe this is happening to me, So, no. And by the way, when I say hand over, of course, do not hand over money to women, right? I'm talking about like paying for coffee or dinner or taxi or whatever. Don't ever hand over money to the girl. You can pay to the waiter, to the coffee shop, to the Grab or Uber or whatever. You can do that, but don't actually hand it over. And by the way, another mistake that a lot of these guys make, they're like, well, this is not that much money to me. I'm a multimillionaire. Well, it's not about how much it is to you. It's about how much it is to her. And if it's a lot, you are buying her, you're making her into a hoe if she wasn't already. A lot of times these girls, they're already hoes. So, all right. In the comment section, somebody says, like you said in other videos, most passport bros are just lazy Westerners waiting to be parted with their coin. Yeah, they're lazy and they're simpy. A lot of these guys don't realize they're simps, right? And they don't know what a good woman is. Once again, in my website, the millionmanproject.com, I specifically spend about a whole entire section. It's the first section there. You can go and check it out, on what a good traditional woman is, because a lot of guys don't even know. They don't know. I always ask this: when you get through your door with a girl to your home, to your house, to your condo, what is the first thing that she does, right? And that shocks the fuck out of them. If she is not bringing you your slippers, or trying to tidy the place up, see some dishes that are not washed or the bed that's not made, and that's not the first thing she's doing, it's not good. She's not good. Sorry. And guys go like, whoa, what the, I've never heard of this. Why would, these guys, most of you guys, America and Europe, don't even know how amazing a woman can be to you. And that's why when you show up here, your standards are so low. When the women continue treating you like shit, you don't even notice that. And that's a problem.
Not because Nim was scheming, she genuinely felt terrible asking every time, but
Of
because
course she did. She was the whore. Of course they all do. I can't believe I have to ask for it. Well, why the fuck are they asking? Like I said, most of these girls don't have a dumb foreigner with writing blank checks to the entire goddamn family. And they all are fine. They're all fine. So, oh, she felt so horrible. Yes, she did.
in Thai culture, if you have money and family needs help, you help. Period.
Okay, so that's an interesting statement, right? He said, "Listen, if your family is big here, it's very important." And I agree, and that's what's missing in America, right? Family, neighbors, that doesn't mean shit anymore. Here, family does mean something, and yes, a lot of times you gotta help, but a lot of times it's a family that has like three dudes, right? Maybe a father or maybe a brother or an uncle, and they are just fun, just lazy fucks, right? Like, before you even consider, first of all, if you're going to help the family, you need to be married to this girl or been with her for a long time, and you need to verify that there's actual problem that just happened to the family, and there's nothing they can do, and they really need the money, right? And again, even then, but most of the time there's a bunch of dudes and even girls there who are lazy as fuck. They don't have jobs, and not because there are no jobs. Like, I was just in Kenya and there are no jobs there. We have jobs here, okay? absolutely have jobs for Thai people, and they're just not getting the jobs. They're all lazy fox. So not yours. You're not supporting a family in need. You're supporting a lazy family. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like living in Sacramento, California. That's why I got the fuck out of there. I realized that I'm paying all this taxes. I'm paying $1,000 a month in my insurance, and half of the people around me are mooching off of the government, absolutely able bodies. And guess who the government is? Me paying taxes. So it's kind of like that. So you got to make sure that this family actually is family that's very, very unfortunate, right? But most of the time, that's not the case. So I see a lot of women here that I date, go on the dates with, and then tell me like, oh, I have to work so hard because I have to send money to my family in the province. Why? Why can they get jobs and whatever? And once I start asking about stuff, it's for drugs and alcohol that they spend. They get lazy. And again, I'm not just talking about Thai culture, by the way. This happens in Philippines and all of the countries. This is just an example, just to showcase this to you guys. But a lot of times these families, absolutely, so you don't have to help, first of all. Like I tell them, like, why are you sending the money to somebody who can absolutely make you're just their mini slave? Stop doing that. Oh, but this is culture. I'm like, no. Well, that's in the shitty culture then. But that's not the culture, right? The culture is that you help a family member who's really in need, and not created that situation on purpose for you to be their slave. Same thing. And by the way, as a foreigner who just dating the girl, you in no way have to help. You're not part of the fucking family. Not yet, at least. But you're not part of the fucking family. And another thing is, yes, when you come here, you absolutely should, follow the culture, fall in love with the culture like I did, learn the language. But when a girl is dating you, you want to obviously respect the culture, but she's dating a foreigner. So she should also respect and participate and adopt a little bit of your culture, which part of it is not giving money to a bunch of lazy fucks laying around in the province somewhere, asking for money. That's my culture. Hmm.
And here's the kicker. This wasn't even unusual financial pressure. This was just normal Thai family life. Imagine what happens when there's a real crisis, like someone needs surgery or the rice farm fails. Now, multiply that expectation over 20, 30, 40 years of marriage, every family emergency, every business opportunity, every cousin's wedding, every grandparent's medical bill. It all becomes your responsibility.
No, it fucking doesn't. No, it fucking doesn't. You're just a sucker who decided it's your responsibility. It is not your responsibility. And by the way, I cannot emphasize this enough. It's not like there's a bunch of like disabled people laying around in every family, okay? These families live on their own and solve their own problems. You make it sound like you're the only person who can solve these problems. No, they solve these fucking problems themselves all the fucking time. You just volunteered to be the sucker to solve that problems for them, but you don't have to.
Most foreign guys aren't mentally or financially prepared for that level of obligation. And
You weren't. Maybe financially, but mentally you obviously completely dropped the ball over there. I mean, I would love to be the fly on the wall in those conversations when this girl, and again, usually it's a mismatch. It's a fat old foreigner who dressed like shit with a pretty girl who's dressed like a hoe with a bunch of tattoos, and you're like, wait, what? Oh, I get it, right? I just would love to be a wall in the, a fly on the wall when she's tricking him and asking him for money. He's like, oh, okay, like
the resentment builds on both sides when reality hits. Here's something else nobody talks about. The language barrier doesn't just affect small talk, it affects the deepest parts of your relationship. I speak decent Thai, not fluent, but conversational. And even with that, I constantly felt like I was missing emotional nuances that only native speakers would catch. Thai is a high context language. So much communication happens between the lines, through tone, through what's not said. When
Okay, so good on him, because most foreigners don't bother learning Thai, and it's one of the most difficult languages in the world to learn. That's why a lot of guys go to South America, because Spanish is the easiest language to learn. And like for example, I don't date Thai women who speak English. The number one way how a girl gets damaged by social media, dating apps, and American and European simps, no matter where in the world she is by understanding English, right? This is where she can interact with foreigners online through live chats. This is when she can understand Beyonce and Taylor Swift's lyrics damaging her brain. So to me, it is 100% a must to speak Thai if you're going to date women here. I've only been here for a couple of years, so my Thai is not that great at all. I'm learning. I just about to have another Thai lesson. I'm learning, and kudos on good on him for learning Thai. It is absolutely a must. But I disagree that unless you speak perfect Thai, oh, you can never have 100% perfect connection with a girl. No. What is it that you need to use your perfect Thai for? Now he says there's a lot of stuff that's not said between the lines. That's every culture sometimes. And he said through tones. No, tones is what makes this language difficult, but you just have to learn it. After 7 years you should be able to do tones, so that's kind of bullshit. But I disagree. There is not much of a communication that you need to do on a regular basis, and even if you need to figure something out, because there are ways to say things, and after 7 years, like I said, if he speaks decent Thai, that's more than enough. And at the end of the day, there's a Google Translate. So no, the language, if you learn it as you should, is fine.
You're arguing about something important: money, family, future plans, and you're both
Okay, so here's another problem. I don't know if you guys catch it. Why the fuck are you arguing with your wife? Why have you married a girl who's argumentative? The whole point of coming here is to get a submissive, obedient, non-argumentative girl. If you have an argumentative girl, stay in your fucking country. You have plenty of those bitches there. I don't really understand it, and I see it everywhere. Oh my god, I would be in a coffee shop, and a foreign guy type girl couple would show up, and she would nag the fuck out of him in English, of course. Then I'm like, why are you with her? Like literally 99% of the rest of the women here are not going to nag you. It is unfucking believable how low bottom of the barrel type of quality of women these foreigners pick. And this one speaks Thai. Most of the time it's because, foreigners too lazy to learn Thai, picks the girls who speak English. Those girls are designed to take your money, right? That's one of the reasons they learn English. And when they do, what they sometimes need it for work, they get infected by the real virus, as I call it. And they are just as bad as American women, maybe cheaper and prettier sometimes, but not always. So this is the problem, that this guy is just he just like makes it sound like, oh my god, I can't believe this, nobody told me. This is why I want to tell everybody else. No, most of us already knew. Most of us already knew. You're the sucker.
speaking your second language. You're not really understanding each other. I remember having a fight with Ploy, my third girlfriend, about her wanting to buy a car.
You see the past. Ooh, wait, well, there's two problems here. uh there are two problems, right? He picks women who argue with him. By the way, how can you have an argument about money if you're the one who is the wallet in the family? What is the argument like? I guess we'll find out in a second. While we did, I just how do you allow your girlfriend or your wife to argue with you about money when you're the only one who's got it? What is the argument? But okay, so she wants a car. By the way, car is a luxury here. A car is a luxury here. Most people use public transportations or motorbikes or motorbike taxis. To have your own fucking car, that is a luxury here. A luxury here.
In English, she said she needed it for work, but I could tell from her Thai friends' reactions that the word she used in Thai carried a different weight, more like strongly desired than
Okay, so it is true, the word, they do have different words for the word want. That is true. But who gives a fuck? I mean, how is she telling you that she needs a no? By the way, nobody needs a car here unless you want to be a professional Uber driver, uh, or delivery or something like that. You don't need a car. You can be on a motorbike, right? And why are her friends around when you're having a family argument? That's another thing. A girl who argues with you in front of her friends, trash, complete trash. And yet these fucking suckers somehow tolerate it. This is one thing that you gotta obtain somewhere, buy it on eBay or something. Self-respect. Most Western men just do not have any self-respect left, right? So when a girl argues with them about something that she has no right to argue about and then does it in front of her friends, and this sucker takes it, ugh, how disgusting.
required. These mistranslations happen constantly, and over years of marriage, they compound. You think
As you can see, I was right in the first place, right? I mean, there is no reason to have this argument. And by the way, what kind of a Shakespearean tie do you need to speak to tell the girl, no, bitch, you're not going to get a car out of me? I already spend money of your family all the time, right? I can say it. And my tie is not that great. So, as you can see, he's full of shit about nuances and all of that stuff. That conversation should have never fucking happened.
you're having one conversation, she thinks you're having another, and both of you get frustrated because the other person doesn't understand. I watched my neighbor, Dave, struggle with this for 3 years before his marriage fell apart. They loved each other, but they could never quite connect on the deeper emotional level because the language barrier created this permanent layer of separation. And don't get me started on trying to explain Western concepts like personal space or independence to someone whose entire worldview is built around interdependence and collective responsibility. But the real killer isn't money or language.
Yeah, that's not that hard to explain either, dude. You know, that's the thing. And you don't need superior knowledge of Thai to explain all of those concepts. They're pretty simple. And by the way, it's not like there are no Western influence here. There's plenty of Western movies and TV series, which I recommend you keep your girlfriends away from. But you know, they do understand that we're different. It's not like they're fucking stupid. They understand, and then you teach her. You teach her about personal space. You teach her about, you know, me time and whatever it is that you require. It's not that hard to understand, man. Like, you're making it sounds like you're trying to explain her, you know, brain surgery, and she just doesn't understand because your tie is not good enough after 7 years. Come on.
Its expectations. Most Thai women who marry foreigners have a very specific vision of what that life will look like. And
Yeah, because they marry and go after foreigners for your money. Yeah, they absolutely do have a very clear vision, and you should stay the fuck away from them. But you didn't.
most foreign men have a completely different vision. She's thinking stability, security, taking care of family, building something together in Thailand, maybe having kids who grow up bilingual and bicultural. He's thinking adventure, youth, escape from Western relationship drama, someone who appreciates him, maybe traveling the world together. These aren't necessarily incompatible, but they require serious.
That's exactly what I was going to say. These are not mutually exclusive. You absolutely can do that. It's about what kind of a woman you pick and what kind of shit you tolerate or don't tolerate. You apparently tolerate whatever she wants to do, and you're willing to be the ATM machine for the entire family.
Discussion and compromise. And most couples don't have those conversations until it's too late. I know because I've had this conversation with dozens of married expats. The pattern is always the same. Year 1 to 2, everything's amazing. Cultural differences seem charming. Year 3 to 4, reality sets in. The differences.
Did you see the dog? This is not uncommon. The dog would sleep on the street until a car's almost like about to run it over, and it will lazily get up and walk away. That is funny. And these are stray dogs that are actually quite nice here. I gotta tell you, in the Philippines, the dogs are a little bit more scary, but here in Thailand, these stray dogs are actually quite nice. But going back to the video, like I said, he's like, "Oh, I know I have all of these other friends, and they have the same problems, and who would have seen this coming?" And that's another thing. These motherfuckers are still stick together, right? I know exactly the area where to go because a lot of times they want to keep within expat community. A lot of times they don't learn Thai, even though this guy did, right? And you end up making the same friends with the same losers, the same simps, and it becomes an echo chamber, right? They will brag about their girlfriends until like, oh shit, she cheated on me. Like I have somebody who I know who's been an expat here for a long time, like 20 years. Okay, so he should have known better. But he told me he's dating this one girl who was a bar girl. Essentially, this girl who works in a bar, and you know what happens there? You can rent her out or whatever. They usually have no fathers. They got tattoos, everything. They're trash, right? And yet these losers will go into those bars, which you should never go into those bars. But you know, like, why would you? Okay, they go into those bars and they think, oh, I can make a wife out of a hoe. You can never do that. So anyway, so this my friend, he started dating this girl, and the age gap is like 30 years, right? I'm all for older man, younger woman thing. Like I'm in my late 40s and I date girls in their 20s, but anything over 2025, that's really pushing it, right? And so he recently told me that he had to dump her because she was cheating on him with someone else. And when he tried kicking her out, she refused to leave the apartment, and he had to go and get another apartment, right? Complete disaster. I mean, my friend and this guy is the same guy, pretty much. Like I'm just saying the same type, right? And I talked to him the other day now, and this wasn't like a month ago. He's like, "Oh, I took her back, but it will never happen again." Oh my fucking god! Like the problem is that a lot of these guys have absolutely should have learned their lessons on other guys' experiences, but they're not even learning on their own experiences. That's why sooner or later they make this videos like this.
Start causing friction. Year 5 plus, either they figured out how to bridge the gap or they're stuck in a marriage that satisfies neither person. The successful ones, and there are some, put in enormous effort to understand each other's worlds. They learn each other's languages fluently. They spend time with both families. They have long, difficult conversations about money, children, career goals, and what success means to each of them.
That goes for every single successful relationship. And by the way, I my condition for if I ever meet a girl here who I want to marry, my condition for her: never learn English. Never. Help me to learn Thai, because I will probably never stop learning Thai because I'm too old to learn it in the perfection and fast. But that is my condition. Do not learn English. This is something these idiots don't understand, is that this is what ruined the women in America and Britain and whatever Europe in the first place. Why would you want a girl to be exposed to that culture? I just I It's unbelievable how stupid these guys are when it comes to women. These guys can be really successful in business. They can be really good fathers. They can be like, obviously, to be able to move from one country to another and adopt a new culture, that takes a quite worldly man, right? These are not kind of like, but when it comes to women, they're such simps and losers. It is truly unbelievable.
But honestly, most don't do this work. They just hope love will be enough. And love is never enough when your fundamental assumptions about life are different. Here's some
That's where I agree with him. Love is never enough. Love is a feeling that most people don't even understand from one another. Everybody has their own definition of love. So when one person says, I love you, the other person thinks that that person means it's in their way, but they don't, right? That's why there's like 5 love languages, which is a good thing to learn, obviously, and ask your partner. But generally speaking, I agree with them. But this goes for everybody. Love is not enough when it comes to a long-term relationships, because long-term relationships are based on loyalty and partnership and experience and all of that stuff, not on this funny little feeling from the fairy tale.
something really dark that nobody warns you about. Once you're married, you're trapped in ways you didn't expect. If you're married to a Thai woman and living in Thailand, leaving becomes incredibly complicated, not just emotionally, legally, and financially. Your visa status is tied to your marriage.
No, it fucking doesn't, you fucking idiot. Only idiots tie their stay in this amazing country to their marriage visas. There are many other ways to stay there permanently. I'm not married. And look, I've been here for 2 years. My visa is up to 20 years. Up to 20 years. There are other ways to stay. If you're over 50, which I'm just about to hit, I'll have a second option, which is retirement visa. You can retire. There's a retirement visa. There's like 3 other visas, long-term visas that you can have here. But if you're going to rely on your wife to stay in this country, fuck off. Just fuck off.
assets might be in her name because of foreign ownership laws. Your social
That's another thing that he mentions. And he mentions this is normal thing to do. So a lot of these suckers, they want to buy a house for the family. But here there's a great law, because Thailand first law is where foreigners cannot own land, right? Essentially, which is great law that America should have had, right? The fact that America is like owned by Chinese people, like in a really large, it's embarrassing, right? So, and you can never undo it, right? But here you cannot own. You can own a condo, which is basically air, but you cannot own land. So what these idiots do, they give their money to their wives, so their wives or girlfriends buy the land and they build a house on it, right? But guess what? It's not their land, it's not their house, it's their wife's house. So to me, it's essentially like paying alimony up front. You know what I mean? So it is the idiotic thing that they do. And then, yes, if you tied your visa to the marriage, if you already bought her the house and the land, if you started a family business like a dumb fuck, and then you're going to get divorced from a girl who didn't love you in the first place because of all of this, because you already spent everything you got on her, and you get divorced, yeah, it gets very complicated. But if you're not a stupid simp, then it's very uncomplicated. That's one of the reasons why I actually would consider getting married here in Thailand, because the consequences for divorce, unless you're a stupid simp, are really not a big deal.
social circle is probably mostly her friends and family. If the marriage
Why is your emotion? Why is your social circle mainly her friends and family? What the fuck? Make your own goddamn friends. And don't you have friends from your previous country? Like I have still, my best friends are all in America. I have new friends here who are foreigners and Thai, but if I end up, dating a girl here, I'm not going to lose my friends. I'm going to continue making friends. So, whoa, this video is getting really bad.
goes bad, you can't just pack up and leave like you could when you were single. You're financially entangled, legally complicated, and socially isolated from other options.
Whose fault is that? I mean, honestly, I can't think of a worse way to run your life here than what you just described. I'll take another question from the live chat. Alex, you said you don't date Russian women. I don't, well, Russian speaking women, and I recommend nobody ever does. Does that apply even to Russian expat women in Central Asia, Dubai, Tel Aviv, and so forth? Listen, I have not met all of these women, but I can tell you that Russian women who live in America, who live right here in Thailand, I see them all over the world, especially Ukrainian, Russian speaking women, right? Just because of the culture, they are undateable. Are there exceptions? Probably. I have not met one, even though I'm originally from Russia, in my 48 years of being alive. Okay. And I explained it in that video. So don't forget to subscribe to the channel. But generally speaking, I always compare Russian women to snakes. And by the way, I love snakes. I love reptiles. But as I learn more about snakes, the most beautiful snakes have the most beautiful markings, right? But that usually means the more beautiful the markings are, the more colorful they are, the more poisonous that snake is. And that's kind of like Russian women, right? The more beautiful they are, the more poisonous. And you don't even have to take my word for it. Just talk to any man who's been divorced from one, or whatever's left of that man, or go to that video on my channel. It's got like 70,000 views, my most popular video on this channel so far, and see the comments from men around the world who've dated or been married to Russian women. Like 98% of them agree with me 100%. So yeah, I just would stay, like, here's the thing. I stay away from foreign women here in general, and specifically Russian women for sure. My next live stream tomorrow, so tune in, and it's probably going to be in two parts. I'm going to review and react to this interview with a few expat women here in Thailand, and about what happens to their dating lives. And of course, I've already made videos about how these women, when they come here, and nobody wants them, nobody takes them seriously, they still don't change. Like, they see all these Thai women who are walking around with their men essentially, and their brains don't go like, "Hey, what is that she's doing that I should do to get a man here?" And they fucking don't. It's amazing how, like, this is how, and I'm going to talk about it tomorrow in the live stream. This is how delusional Western women are. They can be delusional because they, in America and Europe, because they live amongst all these simps that are essentially Western men, and they can afford to be delusional, right? They can afford thinking that they're fucking princesses and supermodels when they're just average fat chicks, because the simps around them will create that matrix for them to actually feel this way. But here, no one's simping for them. And so they actually live in reality. They've been red pilled, if you will, and they still don't change. And I've, in over 2 years of being quite active here, and especially inquisitive about the dating scene, I've only met one Western woman who got married here, right? All other Western women here are either continue to be single, and a lot of times they just leave, or if you see a Western woman here with a boyfriend or a husband, that means that they've already came this way, right? And we all feel sorry for those guys all the time. So that's just kind of a breakdown. But if you want to find out a little bit more about it, tune in tomorrow and we will discuss that in great details.
I've seen guys stay in dead marriages for years because untangling everything seemed impossible. And I've seen guys lose everything, house, business, savings, in divorce proceedings because they never understood how Thai family law actually works. When
So as you can see, this goes all back to what I said in the beginning, right? These guys come here and they date the girls, and the way they date them is exactly the same as they did in America when they were losers in America. And therefore, the punishment of getting divorced is exactly the same. Same type of women, same type of shitty relationships, same type of simping, same type of being an idiot, and same type of the result. This is why when you go to my course, themillionmanproject.com, the link is in the bio, you will see that self-improvement and gaining self-respect is a must before you come here. Do not come here if you're still an American or European simp. You will have exactly the same experience, and then you'll be bitching and whining like this guy.
you're single, you have complete freedom to change your situation if it's not working. When you're married, especially in a foreign country, that freedom disappears. And most guys don't realize how much they valued that freedom until it's gone. Let me tell you what I've observed about foreign men.
By the way, we are very much aware of our freedom. That's the thing. But if you give up the freedom that easily and willing to go down that horrible path, that means you never appreciate it in the first place. Men like me, we do.
Before and after marriage in Thailand. Before marriage, confident, social, pursuing hobbies and friendships, growing as a person, genuinely happy. After marriage, increasingly isolated from other expats, spending most social time with Thai family members they can barely communicate with, stressed about money, and gradually losing the sense of adventure that brought them to Thailand in the first place.
Yeah, this is all on you. This is all on you. I mean, I would love to interview this guy, and I did put a comment into this video because I would love to interview him. I'd like to ask him questions. Why did you lose your own circle of friends? Why did you lose your hobbies? What the fuck did this girl do to you that you lost interest in life and just basically just like bluntly? Why are you spending time with her family if you don't enjoy spending time with her family? Like these guys could just go like, well, I guess this is the way it is. No, it's not. I always tell women, like, listen, I'm dating you. I have no interest in dating your family. I'll go to family functions. If some of your family members are cool, we'll hang out, just like, we're friends. But I'm not here for your family. I'm here for you. So make sure to keep that separately. Uh, this guy never said that. So I would like to know, like, I would like to ask him, like, how did you lose all of that? How did you lose friends? How did a girl that you liked made you lose your friends? Wow.
It's not universal, but it's common enough to be a pattern. Marriage changes the power dynamic. When you're dating, you're both choosing each other every day.
But that shouldn't. This is why men don't should not get married. And the marriage should not change anything. It's a legal agreement, not a very good one, especially in America and Europe, but it should never change your marriage. Why? How is the paperwork? How is the signature, changes the way you are with each other? It shouldn't. If it did, it's your fault.
When you're married, there's an assumption of permanence that can make people stop trying as hard. And in Thai culture, marriage comes with very specific role expectations.
By the way, only more reasons not never to get married, even here in Thailand. Why? What is the benefit of getting married? There's zero benefits of getting married unless you're a fucking loser who relies on marriage to stay in this country, which you should not, as we discussed. But other than that, if you're in America, if you're Great Britain, if you're anywhere, why the fuck do you need to be married? Zero, absolute zero reason. As a matter of fact, you're entering into a contract, which is, again, think of yourself as a businessman. You entering into a contract where the other party, as soon as the contract is signed, immediately offered money by the government. She's immediately offered a payoff to divorce you, to break the agreement. Why the fuck would you enter in that type of an agreement? Again, here in Thailand, if you don't do all that stupid shit that this guy did, which owned property to get all that stuff, you keep your money separate, There's pretty much no punishment. Just pretty much no punishment here.
The husband provides, the wife manages the household and family relationships. If you're not comfortable with traditional gender roles, this can create constant tension. I've seen foreign guys who are perfectly happy with independent, career-focused Thai girlfriends suddenly find themselves married to women who expect to quit their jobs and focus on family. And I've seen Thai
Nobody's ever happy with independent women. No. And why would you even come here? Go date independent women. If America's full of it, Great Britain is full of it. Why would you come to Thailand and date essentially Americanized Thai women who's independent and shit? And again, this guy just doesn't understand what a good traditional woman is. She does not want to quit her job. A good traditional woman wants to keep her job because, one, it gives her a chance to basically not be 100% dependent on you, and therefore you can know that she loves you for who you are because she can walk away. If you've purchased a girl by essentially making her quit her job, you do no longer know whether or not she's with you for the fact that you're feeding her like a dog, or because she loves you, or both. You don't know. So you have to make sure that a woman has a way to earn some money, so she can leave you financially. It's not, she's not a financially in has to be in a relationship with you. That's how she actually loves you. Because she's choosing you every day, just like you choosing her. But cutting her off financially from the world, that's stupid. I already made a video about why your wife should always have a job, not a career. Fuck no, not a career, but a job. And she also needs to live in reality. She needs to be able to deal with other people, deal with customers, deal with traffic, deal with a boss, deal with other coworkers she may not like. She needs to have friends. She needs to be useful, as a useful human being, have some purpose, even on a small job, maybe selling, chicken on a stick, be part of the society. When these guys make these girls housewives, they become like children. They do no longer have friends. They do no longer live in reality. They don't know what money is worth. They don't know what time is. So no, that is not what a traditional woman really. It's a horrible mistake. A good woman is the one who still has a job and doesn't want to quit it. So don't give me all of this stuff. This is for simps.
women frustrated with foreign husbands who don't understand their obligations to extended family. The relationship that worked when you were dating can become completely different once you're married. And by then, it's much harder to change course. Now, I'm not saying
It is your fault. It is your fault. And I don't mean this particular guy's fault. It is a fault of a man who was not able to keep the same dynamic, which really means allow a woman to act inappropriately in many different ways, right? Either quit her job, or stop giving a shit, or go into the gym, or being, submissive and agreeable. If all of a sudden that changes when you marry her, that is your fault because you allowed it. And what you permit, you promote.
Thai foreign marriages never work. I know couples who've been happily married for 10, 15, even 20 years. But look at what they had to do to make it work. Tom and Ratana. He spent 2 years becoming fluent in Thai before proposing. She spent a year living in
Okay, you don't become fluent in 2 years in Thai, so that's bullshit. Okay.
Australia to understand Western culture. They
Awful idea. When a girl has been actually not just exposed to a Western culture, but was part of it, nope, not a wife material.
dated for 4 years, lived together for two, and had multiple conversations with both families about expectations before getting married. Jim
Why the fuck are they involving family when it comes to their relationship? Big mistake. Dating for 2 years without moving in with each other, also I would say I'd like to know why. So far he's saying how, like, oh look, they've done everything right, and yet he's listing the things that were all completely wrong, because this guy still doesn't have a clue why he is here in Thailand. He has never, it seems like, even met or understands the concept what a good woman is anywhere, but specifically here in Thailand.
and Siriporn. They started a business together before marriage so they could see how
That's another thing. Oh my god, what, this guy's a fucking moron. Oh my god, like, fuck. I really was trying not to be hard on him, but god damn it, he says every single thing that you never should do with your wife, even in Thailand or anywhere else. that he suggests that it's a good thing to do. Going into business with your wife? Are you fucking kidding me? Talking about creating a for sure disaster. Why would you want your significant other, your romantic partner, your lover, as your business partner? What a fucking horrible idea.
how they handled money and stress as a team. They agreed on a specific budget for family support and stuck to it. They alternate years
Again, don't do that. So this guy, did you just hear what he says? That they agreed on the budget for family support. That means she told them that in order to be with me, you need to be paying off my family in monthly installments. And they've agreed how much money this pathetic simp had to bring to her family every month for her to be with him. Man, I need to stock up on blood pressure medication, because I honestly, I watched some of this video. As a matter of fact, I went live doing this a couple of times, but my computer kept crapping out, so I got a new computer now. So I watched some of it, and I was like, all right, this guy made a few mistakes, but now I'm realizing this guy made every single possible mistake he possibly could have ever in any country, and he's learned zero lessons from it. Ugh. All right. Well, I'll dig up some of my high blood pressure medication somewhere, because holy fuck.
between Thailand and Canada so she can maintain her career and he can stay connected to his culture. Mark and Wari, they went to couples counseling.
Okay, let's see. He's going to bring up another couple who he thinks is a good relationship because he doesn't know any better. And he's going to give us another list of other shit that's unacceptable
In both languages to make sure they could communicate about difficult topics. They wrote out their expectations for marriage, children, money, and family obligations before the wedding. These couples didn't just fall in love and hope for the best. They treated marriage like a business partnership and did the hard work to make sure they were compatible on every level. But
Should you be treating your marriage as a business partnership? What the fuck?
most people don't do this. They get caught up in the romance and assume love will solve problems that love can't actually solve. So why don't I get married? Simple.
Well, wait a second. Why? The question would be again. I would love to interview this guy. Why were you one of those guys? And it seems like it's not going to go any better for this guy. I guarantee you, he's going to go for the same type of a girl, have the same time relationship, because this guy have learned no lessons whatsoever.
I found something better. I have deep, meaningful relationships with Thai women without the legal, financial, and cultural complications that come with marriage. I can support my girlfriend's family when I choose to, not because I'm obligated to. I can leave if the relationship becomes unhealthy, and so can she. I'm not anti-commitment. I'm pro-conscious choice.
Oh, maybe he did learn some lessons. This is exactly how you should have ran your relationship in the first place. I still against helping families unless it's like a real problem that no one can help and someone's just about to die and you've been with a girl for many years. Like that would be the exception. But it yeah, man. So again, my question to him would be, and like I would love to have him just like to talk to him, right? Is like, why the fuck did you not know any of this back then? None of the things that he mentioned is, oh, this problem, I can't believe this happened. All of this is known classic stupidity by foreign dudes who come here, have no self-respect. They continue to simp. They pick the worst possible women. They completely unaware of red flags, and they pile this and they throw cash at these women. And when it's not enough, they let these women reach out even deeper into their wallets and take more of it. You know what I mean? Like, how the fuck did this guy not know any of this? But I see these guys on the street. Like, I'm just about to go for lunch, after this, before my Thai lesson. Um, and I'm going to see them everywhere. I'm going to hear to their Thai wives nag them to death after already getting a bunch of money out of them. And it's going to ruin my appetite.
Every day I'm with someone, it's because we both actively choose to be together. Not because we signed a contract, not because society expects it, not because leaving would be complicated. That mutual choice keeps the relationship alive in ways that legal obligation never could. And practically speaking, I can focus my energy on building my business, pursuing my interests, and maintaining friendships instead of navigating complex family dynamics and cultural expectations that I'll never fully understand. I'm not saying this is the
I got to tell you, I really had very low hopes for this guy, but it sounds in theory he understands what needs to happen moving forward. My money is still on the fact that he won't follow this, right? He will find a pretty girl. He's still, I'm pretty convinced that he doesn't know what type of a girl that you should date, but maybe he does. Maybe he does. But yeah, my question, I mean, I would love to talk to this guy face to face.
Right choice for everyone. But for me, the freedom to choose my level of involvement in every aspect of the relationship has led to much healthier, more honest connections. Here's what I've learned after 7 years and multiple serious relationships in Thailand. Love isn't enough. Attraction isn't enough. Even genuine
Again, I agree, but I've learned that when I was like 19.
compatibility isn't enough if you're operating from completely different frameworks about what marriage means. Most foreign men fall in love with the idea of being with a Thai woman, the femininity, the respect, the escape from Western dating culture, but they don't fall in love with the reality of Thai family culture, Buddhist philosophy, or the economic expectations that come with marrying into Thai society. And most Thai women fall in love with the security and status that comes with
Yes, and you pick the wrong women. You just, all you have to do is not do that anymore, or in the first place.
marrying a foreigner, but they don't necessarily fall in love with Western individualism, direct communication styles, or the emotional distance from family that many foreign men expect. When the initial excitement wears off, you're left with two people who love each other but can't figure out how to build a life together because they have fundamentally different assumptions about what that life should look like.
So one thing he mentioned actually is that direct communication is not the thing, which is true. So a lot of times I would ask girls, again, I date girls who don't speak English, right? In my Thai sucks, but I would ask a question to which she would probably be a little bit embarrassed to give a true answer for, right? But a Western girl would be like, yeah, I know that I know I did that, or that I wasn't the smart thing to do. But in Thai culture is basically, if they like, saving face here is a big thing. So if they want to save face, so a lot of times a girl would ignore the question. They ignore a question or will give you a very general, well, why did you jump over the bridge over there? Well, I don't always do the thing, and it's like, well, no, but I want to know the actual answer. Maybe not the best analogy, but bear with me here. And you don't get the answer. You have to sit down with them and say, hey, listen, when I ask you a question, I don't want it to be ignored, and I don't want to hear the answer to some other question you made up into your head. If I ask you a question, do not ignore it. I need the answer. Until you give me the answer, we're not talking. Like, this conversation just stopped until you give me the answer. And you know what? Like I said, he makes it sound like, well, they just can't get it and you just have to live with it. No, if the girl doesn't get it, you don't date her anymore. But it's not that hard of a concept. They go like, oh, okay, this foreigner, it sounds like when he asks a question, I have to give him an honest answer. That's the only way I can be with him. Now, she can also decide, I don't want to do that, fuck off, right? Okay, fair enough, I understand. But again, a lot of these girls go like, okay, no, I'm learning something about his culture. Like, this guy assumes that Thai women cannot and do not want to learn anything about your culture. And you concede to that. No, I always say, listen, I'm very much conceding to this amazing Thai culture that I live in, but there are some things I don't want to. It clashes with my personal values and morals. So if you want to be with me, you have to accept part of my value system. And if you don't, sorry. But when you are a simp like this guy, at least used to be, you go like, well, she's so pretty, I'm going to give her whatever it is that she needs. I will compromise my values, I compromise my morals, I will compromise my self-respect, I will simp, I will give her money. And that's how you end up making videos like this.
My approach now is complete honesty from day one. I tell women I date exactly what I can and can't offer. I can offer
Like, why was it not from day one when you started dating here 7 years ago? This guy sounds like he is in his 50s, let's say 40s, right? So these adventures that he's describing started when he was in his mid 30s, right? How the fuck you don't know this in your mid 40s? But you have to start the relationship with honesty and direct communication. Like, who the fuck taught these men? I know who taught these men. Single mothers taught these dudes and simp fathers. I know the answer.
commitment, loyalty, financial support when needed, and genuine partnership. I can't offer marriage, permanent financial responsibility for extended family, or the social status that comes with being a foreign husband. Some women aren't interested in that, and that's fine. The
That is fine. You walk away. We call them gold diggers and hoes. You walk away from gold diggers and hoes. That is the correct answer. I'm starting to like this guy.
ones who are tend to be more independent, more financially stable, and more interested in the actual relationship than what it represents.
So this is why I don't agree. A girl does not need to be independent financially in order to, or she doesn't need to make a certain amount of money in order to be a good woman and love you for who you are, and only, you know, be in a relationship for the right reasons and not the big hoe. He makes it sound like, well, all the women who are, you know, not well off here, they all have to be hoes. No, no, there are plenty of poor women here, and you know, which is normal, who are not hoes. They don't take money from men. They're not sucking the life out of you. They're not requiring that you pay off their fucking families. So I feel like he's doing this. He's not aware of good Thai women who are, you know, don't make a lot of money. And that's on him.
I've been with my current girlfriend for 2 years. She has her own career, her own apartment, her own friends. We spend time together because we enjoy each other's company, not because we need each other to survive. When her family needs help, we discuss it, and I contribute what I can. But
What the fuck did I just hear? Didn't you just say she's independent and has a career? And you still contribute to her family? Oh my God. I think by the end of this live stream, I'm going to have a stroke. Oh my God. I was just on starting to get on the sides like, okay, this guy learned his lessons a little too late in his life, but you know, better late than never, right? That's why that phrase literally was invented. And he's still fucking paying off the fucking family. Oh,
it's not an automatic obligation, and she doesn't resent me when I can't help with everything. This works because we both
yeah, you don't fucking know. You obviously don't know what women are thinking about you. So she might be resentful.
chose this dynamic consciously rather than assuming marriage would somehow solve our differences. Look, if you're considering marriage to a Thai woman, I'm not trying to talk you out of it, but I am trying to get you to think it through completely. Ask yourself, are you marrying her because you genuinely want to spend your life navigating Thai family culture, supporting extended relatives, and building something together in Thailand? Or are you marrying her because the relationship feels good right now and you assume marriage won't change anything important? If it's the first one and you're willing to do the work to make it successful, go for it. But if it's the second one, you might want to consider whether what you have right now is actually better than what marriage would give you. For me, the choice is clear. I'd rather have conscious, chosen
The choice is clear, but it looks like in your current relationship, you're still doing it wrong.
love than obligated, complicated love. But that's just me. What about you? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one. And if you've been through marriage or divorce here in Thailand, share your story. Other guys
Okay, I did drop a message there and I said I would love to have you on the show and talk to you, but he did not reply. Oh man, I'll drop another ones here. I'll put I'll do it after the live stream because I need to have the video expanded. So listen, again, I don't mean to be this mean to this guy because you know I'm not trying to sort of single him out. It's just he made a, and thank you for making this video. Um, you know, but I just want to tell you guys, this is not just Thailand. This is all these other countries where these dudes, you know, passport bros go to, and they fail this miserably. And the reason for that is that because they brought themselves with them. And this is why I spent 3 months putting together my course, which is, you know, the millionmanproject.com. It's right here. You can go to the description of this video or bio, depending on which platform you're watching me on, and just look at the table of contents. That's free. I mean, the course is pretty cheap, but like, look at the table of contents, all of the things you need to do in order to really move to another country, pick the right country, pick the right lifestyle, and actually be successful here, not just with women, but with a lifestyle. I guarantee you that this guy probably made a million other mistakes that have nothing to do with women. Where he lives, maybe how he spends his money, who he's friends with, what kind of type of places you go, you know, his health, most likely. A lot of these guys don't bother buying health insurance here, and they end up in financial problems because if you want good health care, you do have to pay up here, and if you don't have health insurance, like I know these like multimillionaires who come here and go like, what? $300 per month for the best health insurance I've ever had in my life? Oh, that's too expensive. Why would I'm healthy. Motherfucker, you're in your 50s. You just, if you've been healthy, oh my goodness, it's way overdue. You know what I mean? Your kidney problem is way overdue. And they still don't get insurance. And they're like, oh, well, apparently there is no Obamacare here in Thailand or Southeast Asia, so I can't have my pre-existing conditions covered. So I have to pay cash, which is, again, you go to a good hospital, and our hospitals here like a million times better than hospitals in America. I mean, in so many different ways, just like the way doctors are, the fact that the insurance companies don't have them by their balls, the equipment, the fact that I don't have to wait for a doctor for more than 30 minutes, even if I want to see a specialist. A lot of doctors are available. You know, it's unbelievable. Healthcare is really one of the most best reasons why I stayed here in Thailand versus like some other countries where dating scene may be a little bit better, like in Philippines, for example, right? So it is absolutely a disaster what these guys, when they make bad decisions with women, a lot of times they make bad decisions in other parts of their lives. I've noticed, and like I said, I would love to talk to this guy. It would be absolutely awesome for me. So, all right. Well, tomorrow I stream live every day from Bangkok, Thailand around this time. So tomorrow we're going to go over, and it's pretty long podcast that I'm going to reply to. Again, today visuals weren't really good, but tomorrow there's going to be just the logo of that podcast, because we're going to look at the interview of, I think, 4 expat women who live here in Thailand and the challenges that they have with their dating. I have not, like, I try not to listen to or watch these videos ahead of time because I really do want to do live reaction, but I'm pretty sure I know the 2 types of things they're going to say, and it is going to be amazing because the level of delusion of this women here just tells you why you should never ever ever date in America or Europe anymore. So thanks for watching my live stream, and I will see you guys tomorrow.